Before we get started, we had one of our walk-on freshmen, Rhett Bowles, who is an athlete wideout for us, has done a great job for us on scout team. His younger brother passed away yesterday late afternoon in an ATV accident, and so we wanted his family to know that our thoughts and prayers are with them. Very, very difficult situation. So we hope that he can get back with us soon. But it's just important everybody knows that was a tough situation for all of us, an extremely difficult, tough situation for a great young man in Rhett Bowles. Thought we played really well today with the exception of turning the ball over. Defensively, we tackled better. We forced some turnovers on defense. We got a fumble and an interception, one of the interceptions when the game kind of still mattered. And I thought we defended better for the most part on third down without looking at 7 of 18 on third downs, 0 for 2 on fourth, but I know a lot of that was late, so it's hard for me to decipher through the statistics with excluding the fourth quarter. But regardless, overall, just my gut feeling was I thought we played better on third down. Baylor wanted to run the ball a little more than what we thought. We kind of felt like they would try to throw it more, so we had to adjust a little bit. Defense coaches did a nice job of adjusting on the after the first drive. You know, they ate up 7 minutes and something of the clock, and then we didn't play very well in the first series and didn't missed a pass. So, you know, we finally got going there in the second and third quarter. And I thought that, you know, obviously we were very explosive and rushed the ball well, rushed for 275 yards, but made a lot of big plays. And our new lineman played pretty well. Crabtree held up okay, I thought, without watching the tape. 72 and 73 played pretty good for you know, being first-time guys at those positions, really. So we were able to hold up 27. Came in and pounded on them late, run the ball good. LD, same way. Kicking was good for the most part. Our kickoffs, other than one, were better than they were last week or 2 weeks ago. And then obviously Dola hit the field goal on his PAT, so that was encouraging for us. For the most part, we have to take care of the football. When we've been really good around here, we don't turn the ball over much, and so that's something we're going to continue to stress. You know, this game, when teams play each other that are somewhat even, it comes down to special teams play, penalties, and turnovers for the most part. We had one penalty I wasn't fired up about. We had a late hit on a quarterback. When I saw the replay, I really wasn't sure where it came from, but regardless, we got that call. So I'm a little tentative about getting on them too much because we're telling them to fight and claw and scratch and do whatever you can to get to the quarterback, and then we're telling you to slow down at the last second. I'm not sure that always works well together. So, but we'll see it on tape. We'll coach it. You know, other than Magruder, you know, having a lower extremity injury, we don't know what it is right now. It looked like we got out of the game pretty healthy. So we'll let him enjoy the game tonight and get back to work tomorrow.
Like it seemed like the wind might have been causing more havoc than I've seen it cause for a while. What did you see, especially in offense?
Yeah, it was windy, and in this stadium it swirls. Like you try to. At one time, I thought we had the wind. Well, no, we didn't have it, and then I said, okay, when the quarter changed, this is good. We have the wind, and the kicker said, no, we don't have the wind. So it was a little bit of an issue, but it is for both sides. The one punt that McCleskey bobbled, ball was coming straight down into the wind, but he's got to make that play. Those are things that we have to be secure in, at least possessing the ball. But the wind was a little bit of a factor, sure.
They've been really explosive throwing the ball recently. Mike, what do you think was behind you guys being able to really slow them down today?
Well, you talking about attempted passes?
Well, I'm just talking about, yeah, they didn't throw a lot either,
No.
but
They really didn't. And when the game, you know, they probably threw more in the fourth quarter when the game was over than they did essentially in the first three. You would have to ask Matt. I don't know. The only thing is maybe they were trying to keep the clock running. Looked at the time of possession against TCU, us and TCU, and might have thought, hey, let's keep the ball on the ground, keep the clock running. I don't have any idea. I was a little surprised at that, and then I was a little surprised they were crowding the box, in the trying to stop the run. So, either way, that's why when we talk to you guys on Monday, I don't have any clue how people will play. We just have to kind of make adjustments during the game.
Aside from James Washington's fumble, you guys were deficient offensively, obviously, and played a pretty clean game. After TCU and some of the mistakes against Texas Tech, how important was it to see sort of a clean performance by the offense?
It was, when you fumble, it's a downer, and but what you're saying is right. If you take a total number of plays, however many plays we had, 71. I'm going to say that 63 of them were pretty clean. So the turnovers are huge, and we stress it, and we stress it, and we stress it. But we missed a couple throws, but Mason made a bunch of throws. And it's interesting when you look at his numbers, like 19 to 31. The difference with him and other quarterbacks is he's going to have 6 or 7 incompletions because we throw the ball 50 yards down the field all the time. But for the most part, it was fairly clean. So, if one fields the punt in the first quarter, you don't feel very bad about it at all. But then when you do that and then you start the second half with a 60-yard completion and you turn it over, you're like, that's not real fun. So we did play better in areas that we need to make improvement, Mark, but we have to improve in decision-making and fielding the ball on special teams. We have to eliminate 15-yard penalties when we play these teams in the future in order to give ourselves a chance to win.
When you put Tylan Wallace back there on the punts, did you kind of tell him, unless it's a really clear catch, to stay away?
Yeah, you guys, yes, that's pretty good for and everybody makes fun of you guys. I always try to tell people you guys know more than what people say. If the ball was rotating a certain way, we told him to get away from it. If it was floating the correct way, we said go ahead and field it. It is difficult to field punts that are rotating down into the wind. And so that's exactly what we told him. Are you wiretapping us? I feel like Trump right now. So, but regardless, that's exactly what we told him. Now, here's a freshman for you. The first one we punted, he should have caught it. And then after that, he made pretty good decisions.
Is he going to be back there next week?
I don't know. We're going to look into that. If I had an answer for you, I would have given it to you in the second quarter. And right now, we really haven't had a chance to talk about it. We just had the discussion about the subject that Mark brought up at halftime and kind of clean that up. So we're not sure right now what we're going to do. We were better on kick returns, though. So that's a step for us. We missed 2 blocks, and we had a push in the back, or we had a decent return. So we just got to get it cleaned up.
Mike, on that first drive, Baylor ran for about 53 yards of their I believe it was 71. And then you guys seemed to really shut down the running game for the rest of that half, and really, that set the tone for the rest of the game. Did you guys make any adjustments, or did you guys look at that as more of an exception than the rule as to how that was going to go in that matchup?
Yeah, we were not fitting the C gap. We weren't tightening up on the C gap on the defense, and so they were sliding on like a cutback, and we've got to fit that tighter. And they were getting right inside of us, and our guy was diving, and they were getting 9 yards. So we made a couple adjustments inside, and then we tightened up to fit the C gap. They got us a couple times in the second half, and they still got us. But for the most part, we did a better job of tightening up there and kind of closing that gap down and taking away the cutback.
You weren't playing the Alabama defense, but you went for a school record 747 total yards today, and a lot of crazy numbers, 200-yard receiver, 400-yard passer. Is this kind of back to what you talked about before the season about how difficult it is to defend you guys?
I mean, we like to think so. That's why we run the system. At some point, if you start to feel too good about yourself, you'll have a game you're not fired up about, and that won't be quite as fun. But the reason that we run the system that we run is because we like it. We think it's fun to watch. We think quarterbacks would be like, I'd love to play in that system. this game's all about quarterback play. So it does look a lot better when you have great skill kids. Okay, when you've got the guys that we have running and catching and what 5 and 27 are doing, it's a lot more fun. So, we're very fortunate to have kids this year that can make plays. And then up front, I thought our guys, did a good job of just covering people up. Just cover them up and give the quarterback a chance, and then let the skill kids make a play. And in this system, if Mason knows what he's doing, understands, and I've been very pleased with him this year. And I meet with Mason on Wednesday and Fridays and go over the game plan, and he can recite the game plan to me without having the sheet in front of him. And there'll be like 5 third and shorts, and I'll give him 3 of them, and I'll say, okay, we'll go to third and medium. He'll go, well, is so-and-so and so-and-so not on third and short? And I was just kind of teasing him, and I said, yeah, it is. So he's really tuned in. Now, that doesn't guarantee anything, but it guarantees you that he understands preparation, and he's buying into the system. And so when he does that, that gives us a real chance. We just have to keep recruiting great skill kids to go along with him.
Mike, 7 touches for James today, 2 touchdowns, nearly 40 yards a catch. He's so good so consistently. I mean, the fumble notwithstanding.
Right.
Is it easy to lose sight of just how spectacular he's been this year?
He's pretty good. I guess, I'm not real good at math, but he did average 40 yards a catch. And, he's special. It is what it is. We have a saying at our house that you better stay humble or life's going to humble you real quick. And the good news with James Washington is he stays humble. And he's going to be the same now as he was before the game. But we're actually putting in a waiver to the NCAA to try to get him another year of eligibility because we shouldn't have played him when he's a freshman. And I figure that, there's a lot of people in the country that are paying him off. We can pay him off and get him another year eligibility and let him roll. So I'm just joking. Don't print that. That would have only been better if I'd had my shirt off when I said it. So, yeah, I know. And Jenny, I know, it's like Kristen said. She goes, I kind of threw up in my mouth when I saw that. I said, hey, don't be so rough.
You almost done?
I'm having fun now. When we win, I'm having a good time. So.
Can I ask one more thing about James? When you look at his play, he came back this year, obviously, wanting to improve himself. What have you seen him improve himself?
With James? I honestly, he works really hard at everything. And, we brag about Mason, but also James and the other guys. They're technicians, and it's important to them. But I think what's helped him more than anything is we have depth, and he gets a little bit of a rest. He got tired. We threw it to him 3 times in a row down there. And then the one time in the end zone, he was so tired he couldn't jump. But when he stays fairly fresh, he's pretty explosive. And I think that's helped him more than anything. The rest of it, he just works hard. We just have good young men. They're just fun to be around, and they work their tail off. And he's really, really tried to work hard on route running. We challenged him to be like Rashawn Woods. Rashawn Woods was probably the best route runner we've ever had here. And I think he's improved in that area.
Mike, you mentioned getting out of this game, aside from Gruder, relatively good health. Do you hope to get Lundblade or Stoner back anytime soon?
Well, they're day to day. The only guarantee that I can give you guys is if they're out, I'll tell you they're out. And because at times I'm not very good at that. And when guys get, is lower extremity, is that the proper term? I wanted to sound smart. Is that good? When you get a lower extremity, I've heard people say that, and I always want to say that, injury, we cast them or boot them, and then we cut it off. Like Lundblade, he was in a cast for, I think, a week. We cut it off and checked it, and we said, okay, he needs to be back in a boot, or a cast. I don't know what they did to him. And then we'll cut it off again probably Monday, and then we'll check him again. And we do that. I think Stoner could have played today. but we have the luxury of a lot of depth at that position. And so we asked him, do you feel 100%? And he said, probably not. And we said, okay, then let's just chill. And so I think that's where we're at. And I don't know where Gruder's at. They'll probably boot him or cast him and check him again on Tuesday.
You have a pretty intense stretch of games coming up, starting next week when you go to Austin. 59-16 would seem to be an ideal score to post going into that stretch in terms of sort of reestablishing yourself or reasserting yourself, however you want to phrase it. You did what you were supposed to do, but sometimes that doesn't happen. First
Right.
squad coming into a
Sure.
weekend like this. So that's got to make you feel, I would assume,
does.
pretty good.
Well, you're vulnerable every week, and I know you guys get tired of me saying that. Just look around the country and you'll see. To me, in doing this for 28 years, and it may be 27, I'm not sure, but it's all about keeping them focused. And I know everybody's like, what are you talking about? Well, if they don't pay attention and get it and get the information, they just don't play as well. And that's why you see teams that Las Vegas says is much better than another team, and they lose. Because my history dealing with these guys is if you lose focus and don't practice well, you're just vulnerable. And so what you're saying is right. This is what I wanted our team to do today. The only thing that we could have done better is not turn the ball over and not get personal fouls. But we improved in our kicking game. We improved in our tackling. We improved inside the 10-yard line. But we still turned the ball over and we still got personal fouls. So we made some strides. We just have to keep stressing the rest of it to try to eliminate that. Because when you play teams you're equal to, and I don't know, Baylor could be close to being equal to us. They played pretty good the last two games. I don't know. But if you don't do well in special teams, you turn it over and you get personal fouls, you're probably not going to win. So I agree with what you're saying.
82 snaps, 16 points. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, for the defense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they did. They played well, and I told them that in there. Once we got over the first drive, Glenn and them made a few adjustments here and there, and we were much better. And we defended the pass better. Again, I don't know how good a throwing team they are or anybody else. I just know that it's been better than what it was, and so we have to make a few strides each week.